Hello, my name's Suzanne Doyle, and today I want to take you through a real-life case study on continuous improvement and the critical importance it has in Agile Transformation. So let's just start with giving you a little bit of background. The assignment was at a large European bank. The Agile Transformation was focused on the ID department. That was 2,500 personnel and the associated business representation. There was a wave rollout over 3 waves over a 9-month period, so every wave was released every 3 months. Now that equated to 200 teams and 18 scrums. So where was the challenge? What was happening was that the executive action team was seeing that some of the scrums were lagging in quality as well as delivering working product. So what did we do about it? We wanted to dig a bit deeper. We wanted to find out what the Scrum teams were doing on continuous improvement. So what I went into with my team was looking at the top third mature scrums and what patterns were showing up in there. And look at the bottom third scrums to see if any anti-patterns were happening. Now these are the results that we got out of a year in that transformation program. So you can see on the axes, we've got the wave rollout and also the maturity. The blue shows the maturity, the orange is the gap of where they wanted to get to. That 100% mark was where we wanted to get all the scrums by the end of the year. That was level 3. Now just a little bit about the assessment. Each team did a self-assessment that was backed up by observations as well as interviews. What was really interesting was there was no correlation between the rollout and the maturity. Only 2 of the wave 1 scrums were in the top 6 performing scrums. So even though those wave 1 scrums had 6 months extra coaching and 6 months working in this agile operating system. So let's have a look at what we found out with continuous improvement. Now, when we looked at the top mature scrums, what I saw was that there was active participation and brainstorming of ideas, not just to get to foundational, that level 3, but getting beyond. There was a real energy in the room. Also prioritization, they prioritized with the highest impact over the shortest period of time. There was always something in the sprints and ready items in the backlog. One of the key items was strong product owner support. That was really key to make sure that those way of working continuous improvement stories were there. There was also visual management boards where they actively talked about the continuous improvement, and there was really a mindset and behavior that was happening in the teams of a willingness to grow and improve. Now when we went in to look at the observations on those less mature scrums, this is what we saw. In most cases, either the Scrum Master or the Scrum Master was going into control and command, dictating what continuous improvements he or she thought were best, and also the prioritization. There was no equal voice to the team. And when you don't have that, you don't get the best out of a team. You don't get that organic growth. The other thing that was happening was they were using like a 20% buffer of what they were thinking was continuous improvement, but really they were putting product user stories in. The focus was just getting the product out the door, and also that the product owners were not supporting any of the way of working continuous improvement stories. So that's what we found. So what did we do? We took the patterns from the high-performing scrums. We spoke to the EAT, we put them on the backlog. They also worked with the meta scrums to educate the POs and go and sees to see how the other more mature scrums were working. And this was the impact, quarter-on-quarter results. There was an increase of continuous improvement stories, 3-fold from 2% to 6%. There was also improvement in the delivery of features, of working product, and 3% reduction on incidences. We really sort of moved that forward. So today, if I was going to give you 2 takeaways from this case study, they were if you start to observe patterns and anti-patterns in your teams, it's incredibly powerful of how you move your teams forward. And the second one was when we worked with those teams, the ones in the less mature state, if they could flip impediments and think of them as continuous improvements, you re-energize that team, you get them into action, and out of stagnation. Thank you very much.